What is cybersecurity and why does it matter to you? I want to inform you about the common risk of using the internet and practical ways to avoid them. JP Morgan Chase recently announced one of the largest data breaches in history, which impacted more than 83 million customers. Did you know that one person was responsible for that incident? Hackers breached JP Morgan Chase's network via an employee's personal computer by infecting it with malware. Are you aware that if you are connected to the internet, your finances, your identity, your privacy are all at risk? Any one of these things can negatively impact your life and everyone around you. Cybersecurity is a big part of my life as it's my career. I've been in this field for 14 years working for Citigroup, which is one of the largest global banks. I'm going to be going over 3 key points today. Number 1, what is cybersecurity? Number 2, common cyber risk and how they can impact you. And 3, methods to avoid these risks and general tips for good cybersecurity hygiene. So now that I've given you a preview of what we're going to be talking about today, let's jump right in. What is cybersecurity and why is it important? According to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, cybersecurity is the protection of information and computer systems against unauthorized attacks or intrusions. Being connected has its advantages and disadvantages. Since we're all familiar with the internet and its advantages, I'm going to focus on the latter. There is a saying that we have in cybersecurity: the only way to be 100% secure is to unplug your device physically. If it's connected, it's a risk. And this is depicted beautifully in the picture from GRT Corp's National Cybersecurity Awareness Campaign. You have 2 choices to be safe. Number 1, remove any and all devices from the internet, never connecting again, and then ensure that all of your personal information has been removed. Sounds impossible, and it pretty much is. The second and more realistic option is to learn more about the dangers lurking in cyberspace and how to avoid them. So now that we know what cybersecurity is and why it's important, let's learn about the risk and how they can impact you. The primary risk for you to be concerned with is intentional misuse of your computer system or your identity online. Bad guys accomplish this through a variety of ways. We're going to focus on a few for today's discussion. Number 1 is social engineering. Social engineering is the art of manipulating people so that they give up their personal information. This is typically performed through a couple of common techniques. One of these being spam. So the attacker's goal here is to get you to click on a link or download a file that they've sent you, which will affect your computer, or infect your computer rather. Phishing with a PH is another technique that's used. This can come in the form of an email, a text, etc., even a Facebook post that looks like it's coming from a legitimate source like your bank, with the same intentions of loading malicious software on your computer or getting you to share information into a bogus website. The second risk is malware. Malware is software that intentionally causes harm. This can include viruses, worms, trojans, spyware, etc. And malware is mostly used to steal information or compromise your computer for illicit purposes. The third risk is being an intermediary for another attack. Intruders will compromise your computer and use it as a launching point for attacking other systems. And an example of this is a distributed denial of service attack. The fourth and final option, which is pretty similar to the one we just talked about, is using your system for other illicit purposes. We typically refer to these as a zombie computer. And intruders use these zombies for a multitude of things, whether it's sending out a massive email spam campaign or even hosting or storing contraband such as stolen credit card information or even child pornography. Microsoft puts together a nice chart that indicates the amount of US dollars lost in 2013 to cybersecurity incidents. This is pretty scary stuff, but the better you understand the risk, the less likely you are to be involved in an incident. So now that we've discussed the risk, let's discuss some techniques to avoid some of these risks. Methods to avoid these risks and general tips for good cybersecurity hygiene include: number one, passwords. Good, strong passwords. Passwords are the keys to the kingdom. Make sure they're strong, use at least 6 characters, and include numbers and capitals, and try to squeeze in a special character. Don't share your password with anyone. Also, don't use the same password for all of your accounts. Change your passwords often. 90 days is a good common practice here. Keep your computer systems and devices up to date. Bad guys take advantage of vulnerabilities in software, and the software companies fix these vulnerabilities by releasing patches and updates, so install them as soon as you see them. Use multiple security programs, and while it sounds expensive, there are a lot of good free options available. This would include antivirus, firewalls, a backup antivirus, and a website repudiation software which tells you legitimate websites versus bogus websites. Finally, be cautious. Limit the amount of personal data you share online. Understand links and files before you even click on them. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has some really good reference material for you to leverage. Check out their cybersecurity awareness campaign titled Stop, Think, Connect. Put these methods and tips to use in your daily practices and make them a habit. This will provide you with a much safer internet experience. In conclusion, remember, if you are connected, you're at risk. Stay up to date with the dangers and techniques. Keep your system and devices secure and up to date. Be cautious. And reference the tips provided by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Just think about it. If that one J.P. Morgan Chase employee would have been more cybersecurity aware, it would have prevented an incident that impacted millions of people. My name is Kelly Stevens. Thanks and have a good day.